If I was a coach or consultant in 2025 and I wanted to deliver the highest level of service to my clients, this is exactly what I would do. Keeping clients accountable is arguably going to be one of the biggest business amplifying tasks that you could do. Clients that are kept accountable will see far more success, stay with you for longer, and end up referring you their friends and family. And if you can have a steady stream of referrals, this will drastically reduce your marketing budget and as a result, increase your profit margins. But unfortunately, there are two main problems that coaches and consultants face as they continue to scale. They either spend more time working, or they try to hire staff members, and as a result, clients see less success and their churn rate increases. As of today, we have automated over 450 different coaching and consulting businesses, and the check-in system that we automate is a large part of this. Throughout this period of time, we have learned a thing or two about what works and what doesn't. And most importantly, we now have a proven system that allows coaches and consultants to delegate their check-ins whilst making sure that their clients continue to see high levels of success. The goal of today is to give you these proven systems so you can plug these into your business just like our clients do, so you can start pivoting yourself out of your check-in process. This is exactly how our clients use our SCS check-in system, so here's how you can do the same. Now, if you want to truly scale your business, there's only 4 things that you need to be focusing on, but if we can pull you out of 3 of them and focus all your time onto the one key point, your business is going to scale far quicker than any other coaching or consulting business inside your industry. Now, when we look at those 4 key areas, you need to be creating content that pulls in traffic and eyeballs. You then need to turn this traffic into conversations. These conversations need to lead to calls, and these calls need to be closed and turned into clients. At the minute, so many business owners get far too focused on coaching clients. They scale the business up to a point, they hit a plateau, and then they never scale any further. They then see some clients drop, their income drop, and they don't have the systems in place to gain more clients. Off the back of that, they then don't have the systems in place to handle more conversations and close more sales calls, that they then literally hit a plateau and, if anything, start scaling backwards. What we want to do is we want to create systems that offset all your time, so all you have to do is create content, and the systems in your team handle the conversations, the calls, and the clients. That will allow you to scale far quicker than anyone else in your market, and it will allow you to scale far quicker with a lot less stress and whilst working a lot less hours. So what we do is, inside our platform Systemize to Scale, we build the whole check-in automation. And before this, we did use softwares like Trello, like Zapier, like ActiveCampaign and Typeform, for example, to connect all of this together. But what we found was this was really costly for coaches because they had numerous different subscriptions. And as their business grew, they had to pay these other softwares more money because they needed to use them more. I think it's so backward. Software is essentially charging clients more when they're using their software more. It should be the other way around. So we just have one flat fee. You can use it as much as you want and you still pay the same. But alongside that, what we also found is when you use all these different softwares, it's like makeshift. You're trying to connect things together and things can then go wrong, which throw everything else off. So we just want one key software that does everything streamlined in one place, and then it saves you having to try and fix these little problems that might go wrong, whereas it's far more streamlined and seamless all in one place. So the way that we lay it out is as follows. We have one board, so inside opportunities, we then essentially have a board. Think of this like a virtual whiteboard. Now in here, we have a needing setup column, so the minute the client signs up, they appear in the needing setup column. This shows you that they need to be set up. They obviously have been onboarded automatically, but you then need to create their initial sort of fulfillment needs. So for example, if you're a fitness coach, create their program and their nutrition plan, but they can already be added into your coaching app. If you're a consultant, you might then need to create their business strategy, for example. What can then happen is where it says add check-in day, these would then be your designated check-in days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. Then you simply just drag the client into the certain day that you want. This then syncs in to all of the reminders for you. So what I mean by that is if my check-in day is a Monday, I can then automatically be sent a text, an SMS, a WhatsApp, an email the day before on Sunday. So I then have a full day to see that notification, click the link, fill out the form. When I fill out the form, I then automatically get categorized into green, amber, and red. So you can then literally come into here, you can see which clients are red, which are amber, and which are green. You can put a little bit more emphasis on the red ones. You can start on the red ones to give them quick, instant feedback. And then you can handhold them a little bit more throughout the week to make sure they're winning, and then your retention rate will be higher. Any clients that don't check in by the check-in day, for example, Monday, will automatically move to incomplete and then get sent another follow-up, an SMS, a WhatsApp, an email with the link again to check in. When they check in, they'll get color-coded again. What this then means is you've taken yourself out of all of the follow-up systems, and all you're then having to do is literally just do the check-in. But what it also means is you then have an overview of this. So if you then bring on team members, you're not having to stress about all of this. You can literally bring on team members that handle this for you, and all you're then doing is overseeing things. A big thing when it comes to delegating, which I think causes a lot of business owners to stop scaling, is that they try and handhold too much. But the reason they try and handhold is they don't have a system to make sure things are going well. So this then gives you an oversight across it all. So all we then need to do in the platform is we essentially have all of this system pre-built for the coaches and consultants that work with us. And it's usually just a case of tweaking things with them to make sure it's exactly how they want. So for example, if we head over into automation, you'll then notice that we have the STS check-in system and we have a few automations already set up, and it's literally a case of tweaking them. So for example, if we come into the check-in color code system, you will see how simple this automation builder is in our platform. So we essentially trigger the automation when someone submits the check-in form. We update their answers on their profile. So you have a backlog each week, like a comment. Each week their answers just get added on. Then you literally have a trail of all their answers. So you can, when giving feedback, you can analyze, right, this week they said this, last week they said this, a year ago they said this. We then notify whoever the coach is that's working with them. And then we remove a tag. You don't need to worry about that. That's just to make the automation run smoothly, and we take them out of the follow-up reminder. Again, no need to worry about that. All we then do here is we have an if statement. So if they answer certain questions, this dictates if they are green, amber, and red. So what they're essentially doing is they're ranking themselves. So they're saying, yes, my week went here, my week went here, my week went here. Based off their answers, we categorize them, and then we update them on the check-in board into the appropriate column, into green, into amber, into red. So then we can then see on the board, they update into those color codes. This then happens automatically. It's like having an assistant coming in, manually moving your clients around based off their answers, except your hands off and it's doing it automatically. Then what we want to do is we want to have a recurring reminder to essentially follow up with clients. So for example, when clients are moved to a certain column on a check-in day, we then have a reminder that waits until a certain day, for example, Thursday at 6 a.m. It sends out the emails, the texts, waits 3 days, and it loops back around. So essentially, all you then need to do as the client is come in and literally just change the wording of the email and add your link. This then means that this reminder will loop every single week for you, just sending out the reminder. So it's literally like you have an assistant who's sending those reminders every week, except you're having to do nothing. Then alongside that, what we want to do is we then want to set up a follow-up system. So if someone hasn't checked in by their certain check-in day, again, nothing stressful that you need to do here apart from literally just edit the wording as it's already pre-built. We then have a system in place that will update them to the incomplete column for you. So you can see that they're on the incomplete on your check-in board automatically. And then we have the whole follow-up system in place to send out the emails and the SMS messages too. This then essentially means that your whole energy is pivoted out of doing these tasks manually, and this just happens automatically. Your clients are all lined up in their check-in days. They move to green, amber, and red based off their answers. If they don't check in, they go to incomplete. Then it means that you're literally just overseeing the whole system. What it also means as well is your coaches, when they come into here, they can only see their clients, but you can then see everyone. So it's then really easy for you to scale by adding in more clients and more coaches that can only see their clients, but you can see everything. So you have a full oversight on the business. You can then keep your finger on the pulse with the clients that aren't doing well. And it means that you can then, and your coaches can have more touch points throughout the week, and you can click on them and see their answers. So it's really easy when you're having a touch point in the week, you can then reference one of their points on their check-in to really show that you're dialing in on their progress and to give them an extra hand and hold to make sure that they're progressing. So this system then essentially allows you to pivot out of doing all of these tasks manually, and all you're literally doing is the feedback. It makes the process really smooth, it makes it frictionless, and then what we can even do is if a client falls into red, we can then have a follow-up system in place where 3 days later they could get hit with a WhatsApp message saying, I know you were struggling with this last week, how's it going this week? So we're then even taking you out of all these small little tasks, and all you're then doing is literally just giving the feedback. That's how you scale a business in 2025. You pull yourself out of these tasks and you put yourself into the things that are actually going to be high ROI and push your business forwards.